suitcase, also fake, placed it on top of his packed overnight bag and left the room, wheeling his luggage behind him. Emerging from the elevator on the ground floor, he skulked past the front desk. His credit cards were so maxed out he probably didn't even have enough to settle the hotel bill, but he would have to worry about that later. His BMW, the swanky blue convertible that Lorraine liked to drive around in, posing to her friends, was about to be repossessed, and the mortgage company was about to foreclose on his home. Today's meeting, he thought grimly, was the last chance saloon. A promise he was calling in. A 10-year-old promise. He just hoped it had not been forgotten. Sitting on the subway, cradling his bags between his knees, Ronnie was aware that something had gone wrong in his life, but he couldn't really put a finger on what it was exactly. Plenty of his contemporaries from school had gone on to have big successes in their fields, leaving him floundering in their wake, getting increasingly desperate. Financial advisors, property developers, accountants, lawyers. They had their big swinging dick houses, their trophy wives, their kids to die for. What did he have? Neurotic Lorraine, who spent the money he didn't have on endless beauty treatments she seriously did not need, on designer clothes they seriously could not afford, and picking up the tabs of absurdly expensive lunches of lettuce leaves and mineral water with her anorexic friends, who were all far richer than they were, in whatever happened to be the latest hip restaurant of the week. And despite a fortune spent on infertility treatment, she had still been unable to produce the child he so badly wanted. The only expenditure of which he had really approved had been her boob job. But of course, Ronnie was too proud to admit to her the mess he was in. And ever the optimist, he always believed there was a solution just around the corner. A chameleon, he blended perfectly into his environment. As a used car dealer, then an antiques dealer and an estate agent, he used to look pin-sharp, with the gift of the gab that was, unfortunately, better than his financial acumen. After the estate agency business went down the toilet, he had rapidly segued into property developing, where he used to look convincing in jeans and a blazer. Then, as the banks foreclosed on his 20-home development that ran aground over planning issues, he reinvented himself yet again as a financial advisor to the rich. That business hit the buffers too. Now he was here in the hope of convincing his old friend, Donald Hatcook, that he knew the secret of making money out of the next golden goose, biodiesel. Donald was rumoured to have made north of $1 billion in derivatives, whatever they were, and had lost only a paltry couple of $100,000 investing in Ronnie's failed estate agency business 10 years ago. Claiming to accept all his friends' reasons for the failed enterprise, he had assured Ronnie he would back him again one day. Sure, Bill Gates and all the other entrepreneurs on the planet were looking for the way forward in the new, environmentally friendly biofuel market, and had the money to throw at it to make it happen. But Ronnie reckoned he had identified a niche. All he had to do this morning was convince Donald. Donald was sharp. He'd see it. He'd get it. It ought to be, in New York parlance, a slam dunk. In fact, the further the train headed downtown, while he mentally rehearsed his pitch to Donald, the more confident Ronnie became. He felt himself turning into the Michael Douglas character in Wall Street, Gordon Gekko. And he sure looked the part. Just like the dozen other sharply dressed Wall Street players sitting in his swaying carriage with him. If any of them had just half of his troubles, they were keeping it well hidden. They all looked so damned confident. And if they bothered to glance at him, they would have seen a tall guy with lean good looks and slicked back hair who looked equally confident. People said that if you hadn't made it by the time you were 40, then you were never going to make it. He was coming up to 43 in just 3 weeks' time. And he was coming up to his station, Chambers Street. He wanted to walk the last few blocks. He emerged into the fine Manhattan morning and checked his bearings on the map the hotel concierge had given him last night. Then he looked at his watch, 8:10 a.m. From past experience of navigating New York office buildings, he reckoned he should allow himself a good 15 minutes to get to Donald's office once he reached the man's building, and it was a good 5 minutes' walk from here.